What's going on, everybody? Welcome to the channel and the video review of the CHEERSON CX23, the 200mm frame brushless RC quadcopter that also goes by the name of CHEER. It has the return to home function, and it has an HD camera, 1080 by 720p, and it has GPS position hold, and it also has a 5.8 gigahertz FPV and real-time telemetry. So let's go ahead and open up the box and check this baby out. Alright guys, I got everything out of the box and I somewhat assembled it. Here is the quadcopter itself, and it is a sweet looking quadcopter, man. One thing, it has two arms in the front that is upright and two arms in the back that is pointing down, so the motors are hanging upside down. So that's kind of an interesting design. There's a few quadcopters that are coming out with this type of design, and I'm not sure if it provides more thrust or provides more accuracy in the turns, but we will test that out. It has a CHEER and it has an X logo on the top there, and the brushless motors, of course, and the brushless motors are the D1306 3300 kV motors here, and we are given the 40-45 dual bladed props. And it also has a 10 amp ESCs on the inside, which I am unable to check to make sure how they are configured. Here is the 720p HD camera, and it is connected to a 5.8 gigahertz transmitter, and I'm thinking this is the antenna that is coming out of the belly, and that is the transmitter antenna. It does not specify what the power of the transmitter is, but it is set to have a range of a 500 meter transmission distance, and the quadcopter also has a control distance of 500 meters as well. So that is just fantastic. Even if it goes about 200 meters, that is more than good enough for me. So it takes 1080p stills and 720p HD videos, and we are given a micro SD card, so you can stick it in this micro SD card slot here, and they provide you with a 8 gigabyte micro SD card, and there is the slot for the micro SD card right there, and you put it in, and it only supports up to the 8 gigabyte micro SD card. So, and they provide you with it, so that is fantastic. Now the landing legs don't come already attached, but they are very easy to remove. It's a really neat design. See this little groove right here? You can press that in and the landing legs come right out. So when you push it in, it'll click into place. It'll lock into place. Check this out. It locked into place. I can't pull it out. But just by pressing this little knob here, you can take it out. So that is a really, really nice design. Very easy to take on and off the landing legs, and it's locked in place. So that is fantastic. Now there's the battery on the bottom. It is a 7.4 volt 1200 milliamp 20C battery. It's supposed to give you a flight time of around 14 minutes. So we got lots of time to fly this baby around. And to remove the battery, there's a couple of knobs here. You press it and you just lift it and take it out, and you slide it in. So let's take a look at the battery here. It is a proprietary battery, and there are the connectors right here for the power, and just awesome. But I wish they give you two of these batteries. Whenever quadcopters come out with these proprietary batteries and they only give you one, that kind of sucks, you know. I wish they gave you two. But there's a power on and off button of the battery. If you long press it, it'll turn on the power while the battery is attached to the quadcopter, of course. But if you just short press it, it'll tell you the battery level. And if I short press it, as you can see, there's 4 LED lights and they're red, so it is fully charged. So that is fantastic. And to put the battery back in, you just put the front of the battery in and you just push it in and it is on there. And if you want to take it off, you have to squeeze the battery right here, the 2 sides of the battery, and it will take you can remove the battery. There's some LED light indicators right in the back. So it has different LED color lights in here to indicate GPS and all that stuff. We'll go over that in a minute. And when you calibrate, it turns into different colors. So let's go ahead and leave the quadcopter on its box for now. And let's go ahead and take a look at the remote control here. And the remote control is a nice looking remote control, minimalistic look as well. It's got this velvety finish coating on it, and dual antennas, guys, dual pigtail antennas, in which you put on. So it comes separate, so you just take it off and you unscrew it. Let me go ahead and unscrew it and show you the attachment. There you go. There you go. You just screw it right on. They give you 2 of them, so just go ahead and screw it right on. But I found it kind of difficult with the monitor in place here. So, and the monitor comes separate as well. And there's a little bracket and the hinge to adjust the angle of the monitor. In the back of the transmitter, if you press this down, you can pull this whole monitor right out and it locks in place. But when you get the monitor comes separate from this little bracket, and you need to put in a little screw and screw it on. And it's got a metal bracket and 1 screw, so that's holding on pretty good. So let me go ahead and install the antenna real quick here. Just circle them in and swing it out. Let's go ahead and look at the remote control real quick. So there's the 2 antennas, and there's the bracket to hold the 5.8 gigahertz monitor, the 4.3 inch LCD monitor. And it also has this phone clip that comes up, and it is spring loaded. So I'm assuming the Cheer will come in a Wi-Fi FPV model as well, and that's where you put the phone. And it is a built-in phone clip, so that is pretty cool. There's some rotary dials right here which springs back to the middle. Those are disabled, so they have no functions there. There's the LCD screen throttle here and the pitch here, and it springs back to the middle. So we got altitude hold, we got the power button right here, and the neck strap holder right here as well. Now this button here is the return to home button. You will have to long press it, and the red light comes on, and you will get the return to home function happening. 1 key to take off. Just down press it and 1 key to take off, and we have the 1 key to land button. All right, so they have their own buttons as well. And this button here is the photo and video button. A short press of it will take the photo, and a long press of it will take a video. And here is the mode button. Now by default it is on altitude hold, which is a green LED light, and it has an LED light on the button itself. A short press of it will change the LED light to red, and in the red color mode, it is the GPS mode. So you can turn the GPS on and off. And if you short press it again, you go back to the altitude hold mode, which is the green light. But if you long press it, the light will change to green and yellow, and you are in the circle around me mode. So the quadcopter will begin to circle around the subject, and hopefully it is the remote control. Now it has a 2-way communication between the remote control and the quadcopter, so it knows where the remote control is. So hopefully it will be circling around me. But the cool thing about it, while it's circling around you, you are able to change the radius of the circle by the pitch. If you push it forward, of course the quadcopter is pointing its nose towards the center subject, so you can pitch forward and the quadcopter will come forward in that radius circle. And if you pull it back, it will go back, so the radius of the circle will become bigger and bigger. And on top of that, you can control the speed at which the radius is happening as well with a roll. You give it a slight roll because it's traveling sideways. So if you roll it, you can control the speed at which it's circling around the subject as well. So that is just a fantastic function. So let's go ahead and talk about the 5.8 gigahertz LCD monitor here. It is a pretty nice looking monitor. It doesn't have any of the contrast or the brightness changeable functions on the monitor itself. Built-in antenna as well, so we know by one of these built-in antennas that it transmits sideways. The antennas are probably lying down laterally on the monitor itself, so you want to keep the quadcopter either in front of you or behind you, not too much to the sides, because those are the dead spots of the antenna. Here is the button to change the channels, and this thing supports 32 channels. It has 4 frequencies and 8 channels on each of the frequency, and by down pressing it, you run through the whole cycle of those 32 channels. So that is fantastic. Another nice little monitor. Here's a charging port right here, and here's the on and off switch right here. And like I said, this little bracket is easy to put on just with one screw, and it goes into the transmitter, back of the transmitter, just like that, and you just push it down and it locks into place, and you can't take it off unless you press this little knob right here. All right, so that's a look at the remote control. All right, let's take a look at what else comes in the box. We got the charging wall plug here and the cable and the proprietary battery cradle. The battery sits on there to charge. And what else we got? We got a little bag of goodies here, and it is a screwdriver set. It is called the tools, and it comes with a small little screwdriver and a bigger screwdriver, which you can change the screwdriver tips, and a little wrench. All right, so that is pretty cool. Now we also get this charge cable for the LCD monitor. You charge the monitor via this little port right here and stick this other port into the USB charging device. And we also get this micro SD card reader, and in which the micro SD card was here, packaged in here, the 8 gigabyte micro SD card. I took it out and put it on the quadcopter itself, so that is pretty cool. And what we also get is another charge cable, and it is the USB to micro USB charge cable, and this is to charge the remote control. Yeah, the remote control has a rechargeable battery in here, so that is pretty cool, guys. So you don't have to put your batteries in the back, so that is just fantastic. So let's put that on the side. And you also get a couple of props, a couple of extra I believe 40-45 dual bladed props. All right, and of course you get a bag of screws, in which I used one. Well, there was only 2 screws on here, and it is the same 2 screws, and that screw was to hold down the LCD monitor onto that little bracket there. All right, so that is everything that came in the box, but I want to show you the box in which everything came in, which is just a fantastic packaging. Like everything else nowadays, everything comes packaged so well. And here's the foam in which the quadcopter was nestling in, and it was right in this box, just like this. This is the bottom of the box, so the quadcopter was right in here. All right, so you take the quadcopter out and the foam out, and there's a second level in which there's a paper dividing it, and you take the paper out, and check that out. Everything had its own compartment. Here's the FPV screen, here's a charging cable, and here's the remote control, and all of these contain like the legs, the screwdrivers, and stuff like that. So the packaging was extremely nice as well. All right, so that we have introduced everything of the CHEERSON CX23, the Cheer. Let's go ahead and do a little demo flight. Alright guys, we are ready to go with the CHEERSON CX23 for the very first time. But we're going to have to bind the transmitter to the quadcopter for the very first time. And here it is. What you're going to need to do is hold down the return to home button and power up the remote control at the same time, in which it'll send the remote control to a binding mode, and it'll be searching for an RF signal. So let's go ahead and do that, holding down and powering it up. And it says searching for an RF signal, and it gave out a couple of beeps. And we're going to go ahead and power up the quadcopter here by holding the power button, and there you go, the 4 lights blink up, and there we go, the searching for the RF signal disappeared, and now we have the main screen on the LCD display of the remote control. Now what we want to do here is, for the very first time and all the time, every time before you fly, you have to calibrate the compass on this quadcopter, which is the calibration dance. So what you're going to do is hit this mode button and continue to down press on the mode button until it tells you to calibrate your quadcopter. So we're going to do that. We're going to continue to hit it. There you go. It takes a little while, and it says calibrate compass, rotate horizontal. So we're going to rotate it horizontal, but you see that green light is flashing rapidly. Well, once you have rotated it horizontal once, twice, 3 times, oops, some more, 4 times, 5 times, and I'm continuing to rotate it horizontal, and it is telling me, well, still rotate it horizontally. Okay, finally it is telling me to rotate it vertically, and the green light has slowed down in its blinking, and is blinking a little slower. I'm doing this in the shade so you guys can see the lights here. So it says calibrate vertical. So, and at which time put the nose down and rotate it once, twice, 3 times, and check that out. We are back into the main screen of the remote control, and now the green light is solid and it's ready to go. Now we also need to calibrate the accelerometer on this baby here, and to do that you hold the throttle stick all the way down, and with the pitch and roll stick you rotate it, roll left and right many times until the light starts to blink. So let's go ahead and do that. There we go. We are in the gyro calibration, and it is blinking red, green, and blue continuously, and now it has stopped and it is solid green. So now we have done the calibration, we have calibrated the compass, and now we are ready to go. But first, what we're going to have to do is turn off the quadcopter and turn off the remote control for the compass calibration to have been successfully calibrated. So we're going to turn off the quadcopter and power off the remote control here. There we go. Now we have completed our calibration. So let's go ahead and reverse that process and turn this baby on, and let's go for a little flight demo. Alright guys, we are ready to go. So I'm going to power on the transmitter, and it says loading, and there is the main screen there, and we are going to turn on the quadcopter. Alright, the lights are on and it is on. Alright, we have a connection here. Nice. Let's see the connection. Yes, we have connection. I can see the little bars on the remote control. So now we have GPS. We have 10 GPS locked in. All we need is 7 GPS. That is the minimum amount of GPS for a return to home function. So we are good to go. We are turning on the monitor now, and we got FPV, but we are on the wrong channel here. So I'm going to start changing the channels Okay, we got 32 channels on this thing. So hopefully, oops, did I skip the good channel there? So don't go pressing the button frantically. There, we got a pretty good channel there. Wow, it's pretty bright. The white balance is not that good. So we are looking at the ground right now, and we are looking at the car. Okay, it focuses in on the car pretty good, but when you go on the horizon, it's not that bad. And the monitor is pretty clear, and I can see this thing, not bad. All right, we got some displays on here. We got the satellites. I got 11 satellites locked in. We got the altitude. Oh man, we got the distance, and we got the speed and all that stuff. Awesome. So let's go ahead and take off and check this baby out. But what I want to do is take off on that platform right here. Oh, first thing first, let's take some photos. Sorry about that. So let's go ahead and take some photos that way. All right, we're taking a photo, hopefully, and put it forward. Let me see what happens to the screen. Okay, there's a little red dot that appeared on the monitor screen, letting us know that we have taken a photo. So let's point it that way. Is that a good spot? There we go. Point it towards the mountains. Hey, it is nice because you're seeing what you're capturing here. Let's take a photo of the launch pad there. All right, taking some photos. So we are good to go. Let's use the launch pad, and that will be our home point because we're going to be launching off of that spot right there. All right, so let's go ahead and start the video first, holding this button and long pressing it. And we have some red counter and a red dot indicating we are recording. And this monitor is excellent. I can see it. Even in the sunlight, I can see it. There's no glare. You don't need any sunshade or anything. It is really, really nice, guys. So we're going to leave the antenna slightly up like so. And let's do the 1 kilo takeoff. So let's go ahead and hit this button here. No? Long pressing it? There you go. Long press it. And we are up and running. Nice. That is the hover. I haven't touched the throttle yet. So that is the altitude hold, the default altitude hold. How cool is that? Very nice and stable. Very little wind today. So that is the hover. We are not in GPS mode. We are just in the altitude hold mode. So let's bring it back right here. And let me hit this button. Now we are in GPS mode. And check that out. That is the GPS hover. It is not drifting around like in the altitude hold mode. So this baby is working very, very nice. All right, let's bring it in just a little bit. And let's check out the 1 kilo land button. Oh, down press it and hold it. There you go. And you can guide the landing with your pitch. There you go, and the motor's shut off. It doesn't bounce up and down. It lands and it turns off the motor, so that is fantastic. All right, so now that we have completed a 1 kilo takeoff and 1 kilo land successfully and held its position with the GPS, we are still in the GPS mode, and we're going to go ahead and take off one more time, and we're going to test out the return to home function. this time around we are in GPS mode, so it rises up in the same spot. It's not drifting around, and there's no wind today to push this thing around, so that is fantastic. So let's go ahead and go into the get out of the GPS mode by pressing this button. There you go, and that is the wind taking it away. And hitting it again, GPS mode, baby. GPS lock. Nice. All right, let's push it out right around here, and let's see what happens when we hit that return to home button. Down pressing it, return to home has been activated. Yep, check it out. It is coming back by itself. And it is descending, and it is missing the landing spot just by maybe about a foot or so. So that's good enough, I guess. It landed in the dirt, but the return to home function works fantastic. Now, it does not say anything about fail-safe return to home when you lose communication with the transmitter, but you know, I really don't want to test that out because it has nothing that says that it will do that. So we're going to skip that, and we're going to go ahead and go into the follow me mode, or I'm sorry, the circle around me mode, and check that out. All right, so let's go ahead and take off one more time. There we go. Awesome. And we are in GPS lock hover, so that is fantastic. So let's go ahead and send it out a little bit, and let's walk out here in the middle of the field. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to hit this mode button and long press it. Check it out. Look at what it's doing here. It's turning around. And where is the subject? Okay, it thinks the subject is right there, because that is the spot where I hit the circle around me, and it's making a radius. So I'm going to push it forward a little bit. Wait a minute, it's making a very big circle. Check it out. It is continuing to make that circle around that position there. And I'm trying to pitch forward, but it's not really pitching forward. And let me see if I can roll it. Oh, I have slowed down its process. And it's, look at that, it's circling around the opposite way. So you can actually control which way it is going. Now it's coming this way, circling around that object. All right, let me see if I can pull it back. Yeah, the radius is becoming bigger. Pull it forward, and the radius is becoming smaller. How cool is that? That is awesome. Okay, let me get out of that mode and down pressing it, and we are in the regular mode now. Nope, we have reinitiated the circle around me by down holding it. So just one press. Okay, and the light is green, so we are in altitude hold mode. So just down press it once to get out of the circle around me mode. That is fantastic, guys. Now this thing does not have a speed button where you can change rates. Let's just check out its speed function or its speed capability. Nice. It's not the fastest, but it's doing a nice job flying. Very smooth. Yeah, it's very smooth. That is pretty good enough. Very nice for a GPS quad. Not bad at all. Nice. I'm wondering if it has a low voltage return to home as well. What was that beep? Hopefully it's not the battery level. Okay. I don't think it's the battery level. We still got 7.2. Okay, what is that? Huh. What is that again? I'm not sure what that is, guys. Okay, let's bring this baby back. I'm not sure what those beeps are. Hopefully it's not indicating a low battery warning. So maybe we have already flown for about 10 minutes, I'm thinking. Okay, here we go. We are going to hit this button again, the mode button. I'm going to go into the GPS lock mode here. And we are looking at the car. Yeah, I don't know what that beep is. Maybe it is giving me a low battery warning already. Well, anyway, let's go ahead and do another circle around me on the car since it's still flying around. All right. Oh, it went somewhere. What is it doing? Is it circling around the transmitter this time? That's what it kind of looks like, isn't it? Yeah, the radius is a big radius. Yeah, and it is circling around the transmitter this time. So it is circling around me as the subject. So that is awesome. Yeah, I don't know what that beeping is. 7.1 volts. So let's get out of the circle around me. I think that's pretty good. Let me see if I can go forward and give it a smaller radius. Yeah, it is giving me a smaller radius. Don't hit the car. my car is just a magnet for quadcopters. So all right, so let me get out of that mode by hitting it. Now we are in the altitude hold, and hit it once again. We are in the GPS mode. All right, so far so good. Okay, so I'm not sure what this beeping is, guys. And if I look at the screen, it is still showing me 7.0. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to come over here and see if I can FPV with this thing real quick. Going away from me and circling around. Oh man, this is a fantastic monitor, guys. And this quadcopter handles very well to the controls, and it's coming towards me and going right over me. Passing by me, and I'm going to turn around. And there I am again. I'm passing by again. And turn around for the final time. And there I am. I'm going to pass by me again one more time. All right, it should be right there. Nice. All right, it handled beautifully. I'm going to turn off the video. Okay, now I'm going to hit that return to home button and initiate its return to home. It went down in altitude. Whoa, whoa, whoa. It just came straight down. And guess what, guys? I think I have overextended its battery life. And that's what all of the beeps were all about. So I am glad that we got the, oops, and the battery came out as well. So let's take a look at the damage. It doesn't look like that much damage. Just a little bit of dirt here. Okay, the quadcopter is all right. The battery just came flying out. So that is pretty cool. Now what is this little thing here? Okay, that is nothing there. Let's see. We can see that the battery has just one light remaining. So it must have been low on battery when it came down. So we almost landed successfully, but we just ran out of time on the CHEERSON CX23. All right, let's take it back to the table. All right, guys, we are back at the table trying to analyze the situation of what happened. And I do believe the battery just ran out and it fell from the sky right over there. So definitely this CHEERSON CX23 does not have low voltage fail-safe return to home. So be careful with that. But it does provide you with ample enough time once the beeping went on. I flew for about good 3 minutes, at least 3-4 minutes. So you do have lots of time to bring the quadcopter back to home. And when you are venturing out, and this does have very good distance, so just hit that return to home button if you are far away and you want the quadcopter to come back. As soon as it starts to beep, it allows you ample enough time. But I wish, because they provide you with a proprietary battery, you know, whenever they do that, I do wish they provide you with a couple of battery, so you have more than enough time to fool around and fly around and enjoy the quadcopter and not having to stop and have to recharge the quadcopter. Now the quadcopter did excellent. It did fantastic with the 1 key to take off, 1 key to land, and by pressing the return to home button, it did fantastic. It returned to home, just missed the landing spot by about a foot, maybe a foot and a half. And the monitor is fantastic. I mean, you can see it clearly, even in this bright daylight, even in the sunlight, it is fantastic. So it is a very nice beginner entry-level FPV quadcopter, as well as circle around me. That was fantastic. You are able to control its radius, and you are able to control the speed at which it's doing the circle around me, and you can reverse its circle around me as well in mid-flight of the circle around me. So that was fantastic. So there you have it, guys. That is my review of the CX23 by CHEERSON, the Cheer. Thank you very much for watching, and we will see you again next time. Alright guys, we got the CHEERSON CX23 here, and what we're going to do is test out if we can do some FPV flying with some goggles. So I got my Headplay SE goggles here, and we're going to try and do some goggles FPV with the CHEERSON CX23. So let's check it out. Alright, here we go. As you can see, the video is the recording taken from the Headplay goggles, and it is exactly what I was looking at. And the first thing you can notice is that the field of view is a little bit narrow, but it's decent enough to FPV. So there are a lot of stuff on the screen here. As far as all of the values, you got the horizon bar right in the middle, and you got the indication that you got a micro SD card inserted on the right bottom corner there. I'm going to go ahead and freeze the frame right here so I can go ahead and try to explain some of the stuff that you are looking at over here. So I'm going to freeze the frame. Alright guys, here we are. I'm going to try and explain what some of these values are. On the left upper hand corner here, looks like it's the GPS satellites that has been locked in. I got a number 8 there. The P looks like it's the pitch, and the R looks like it's the roll values. And this value here in the middle, what it looks like is the compass value, and it would be 0 if I'm pointing straight towards where I took off from. On the right, the ALT, I'm not sure what that is. Looks like altitude, but there's no values associated with it. And right below it, there is the THR. And what it looks like is the throttle values there. And below it, what it looks like, it's got a little icon of a transmitter. That's what it looks like. And there's some bars. So I'm thinking that is the signal strength of the transmitter. So going right below that, it has got an up and down arrow, and it says M/S. So I'm thinking that is the speed at which it's going, meters per second maybe. Right below it, there is the micro SD card indicator that I have a micro SD card, and of course the horizon bar right in the middle here. And on the bottom right, it has a little thing here that has the arrow going up and down, and a little arrow indicating, and it's a letter H. So I'm thinking that is the altitude, or that is the height. Okay, and the value on the bottom here with the little arrow pointing, it is the value that is kind of confusing. Looks like what it is the distance from home, and this arrow is indicating my home is in that direction as well. Okay, on the bottom left corner, that looks like the flight time and the battery voltage on the bottom here. And this one here is kind of a weird one too. I don't know what that quite is, and it is pointing towards the home point as well. And I'm thinking it is the lateral value away from my home point. So that is the best I can decipher on this on-screen display here. So let's go back to flying. All right, here we are back to our flying. And whoa, right here, I almost hit that leaf, trying to get away from the tree. And yeah, this quadcopter kind of makes a wide turn. I'll almost hit that sign over there and trying to make my way back. And so far, now I'm slowly starting to get used to it. I'm going to try and hit the open field a little bit here. And right there, that's where I am. And when I make that turn, I thought I missed that pylon, but the pylon appeared right in front of my eyes. So I was kind of startled there for a second. Going back to the middle of the field, I was thinking about going through those poles, but I thought, no, this thing has altitude hold, and it's very difficult to go up and down in altitude as you want it. And there you go. I couldn't avoid that little branch with the leaf, and good thing I didn't crash, and I was able to save myself. And I was kind of lost in my orientation there, and I made my way back to the center of this field. So I'm going back towards the home point, and on the right is where I took off from. So the values, as you can see, the left hand, it's pointing to the right, and the values get smaller. And as I go away, actually the values even got smaller. But the one on the bottom, that the distance from home, the bottom center, I don't know about that. It's recording like 90 something value. It just went to 100. I'm not 100 meters away from my home point there, so I'm not sure what that actually is. But the value that's right on top in the middle of the screen, I can confirm that is the correct compass value. As I'm going away from the my home point, the values start to increase. And look, it's going back towards that value, towards the left, and the value increases until it hits that 360, and the value will go to 0 again. So I know that that is the compass value. And as far as I'm concerned, the values on the left there, the P and the R, that's what it looks like. That's pretty much the pitch and the roll and stuff like that. So here we are. I'm just cruising, and it is okay. The field of view is not the greatest, so I'm able to kind of FPV. So here I am. I'm going to go and test out and see if I can make my way around all the line of those trees and see how good this VTX actually is. And I find out that it is not that great. So I'm getting all kinds of blackness there. I almost lost my orientation, and somehow I just went forward and I pulled through it. So thank God. I thought I was going to lose the quadcopter right there. But it's making our way back. And so there you have it. See, that 190, 200, and I'm going towards the left, making my turn. So that is the compass. And I'm making my way back to the middle of the field. And I'm almost at the end of my flight. And as you can see, as soon as I hit where I took off from, it went to 0. And now it's going the opposite direction. So I'm going to make my landing over here. So thank you, everybody, for watching. Please subscribe and share. And of course, have a great day. And we will see you again next time.